place that you want to drag your dead carcass up here, then meet me in that ring again. But how about we do something a little bit different? I'll prove to you that I can beat you. How about that, Sullivan? Will that fill your gluttonous ego the size of Ethiopia up? How about that? How about
Did you
this?
say anytime, any place, anywhere?
Anytime, any place. It can be in the ring. It can be in the yard. It can be in the parking lot. It can be anywhere. You meet me where all this started. You meet me in that ring. Instead of a cold November night, it's going to be a one hell of a rude awakening summer afternoon. Let me tell you something.
Ooh.
You have slapped me in the face for long enough. You have rubbed it in for long enough. You have done everything to me. You split apart my friends. You poisoned one of their minds. And now you're sitting there on your couch with your little cream-colored walls like some kind of mental sanatorium, like you're some kind of big shot.
Oh, boy.
Let me tell you something. I loved you. I loved you like my own blood. I brought you into my home. I fed you my food. I gave you a bed to sleep on. More than anybody else, I still believe in you, Chase Sullivan. I still believe in you. Part of me thinks I still really want you to snap out of it and come back. But I don't know if that's ever going to happen because you're too far gone. You've sank into the deepest pits of despair, and you've surrounded yourself with glad-handing people that tell you everything you want to hear. You have Taylor in your ear. You have your wife basically paddling the title around for you. You have everything that you could ever want right now. You're the champion. You're the big shot. You've had more successful defenses with that title than anybody, Sullivan. But you know what they say? Everything that goes up must come down. Where every beginning has an ending, and every ending has a beginning. Because you just painted the world's biggest target on your back. Because let me tell you something, I don't want to fight you in a normal match. It doesn't have to be for the title. I want to submit you. I want to see you tap out. I want to see you tap out. Because that's what you do. When the going gets tough, you tap out and you get them shitty little brass knuckles and you plant them across people's faces. Try it with me. I'll get up.
You want to
speak up, Sullivan. Speak up. Come on, kid. Come on, speak up. Come on.
You want a submissions match against?
Huh? Yeah, I do. As a matter of fact.
You know what? You're on.
Whoa!
Okay, that's fine.
On the line and everything, and I can tell you right now, there's no chance in hell, and pun intended, by the way.
Ooh. It wasn't a good pun.
Hell of you beating me for my Southern Heavyweight Championship, because you need to do a little bit more studies here, Jake. There's only been one time I've ever tapped out in UWA history.
We're going to make it number 2, bucko. We're going to make it number 2.
Ooh.
Actually, wait a minute. We're going to make it 2. 1, 2. There you go.
Somebody brought out the birds. He brought out the boo birds there. The headshot Jake Howell has gotten his wish, and we're going to see this time a submission match for that UWA Southern Championship. And champ, I mean, you sure? I mean, you want to do this? I mean, I know you just confirmed it, but I mean, Jake Howell is on another level right now. He said some things that I didn't think he'd even go tonight and say. This was totally off the cuff. This was not planned. This was totally something that, I mean, I think the backyard in the underground wrestling circuit is stunned right now in some of the things that Jake Howell's done. He really has had. He had his CM Punk moment tonight.
Say your piece, because I want to talk to the fans.
I don't care about the fans.
I know you don't. You'll
any of them.
You'll gluttonous bastard. I know you don't.
But hey, Jake, I want you to know this.
Okay. Tell
Just
me.
Last time, I'm not going in for any wrestling match. This isn't going to be no technical lock-up chain wrestling bullshit. I'm going in for a fight. I to leave you beaten, battered, and bloody at the end of the night. And I want you to know this. This title is staying on my waist for a long time. And you want to say, Mr. Tom, you want to say that he's on a hot streak. I have done more successful things in my career than he could ever do.
Oh, we know what you've done. There's no question about what you've done in terms of accumulating gold. And your tag team partner's back, and he may have the biggest prize of them all coming up. But,
Well,
I mean, Jake Howell has had a lot to say tonight. And I think what we're worried about is that can Jake Howell deliver? And it seems like he's hell-bent on doing that at your expense, champ.
Tom, can I ask Chance just one more?
You can ask him 100 questions.
I just have one more question, and I'd like to talk to the fans if that's okay, Tom, because I think he needs to start training right now. So I want to ask you one question. I remember on that one night you said, "How much is it worth to me?" Let me ask you this one simple little question, Chase Sullivan. Let me ask you this little question. How much is your career worth to you? You go into a match like this, you think I'm going to go there for a wrestling match, a Johnny Saint type wrestling match? You think I'm going to go there? No, pal. No. That's where you're a fool, because you just agreed to something you can't win. You want to know why? Because I'm going to choke you out. I'm going to leave every last breath leave your body, and when you wake up and your wife's slapping your face trying to wake you up because you're going to need it, I want you to know, when I beat you non-title and I get my title match, it's going to take a miracle from God for me to ever lose that match. You'll have to get lucky. Because let me tell you something, Bubba. It's time to end this. Years and years of pain on both of us. Look at yourself in that title right now. Look at your reflection. Look at your reflection. Look at you. Look at how far you've come. But where did your balls go?
Ooh.
Where'd your integrity go? Because all of that was lost when you grabbed that bat. So start training. Start getting ready. Start doing everything you can, because we'll simply put, I'm going to snap your neck like a damn chicken bone.
I'm going to make you eat those words. I hope you know that.
I'm not hungry, sorry.
Oh,
But trust me.
I don't trust you for 1 second.
Oh, I'm going to stab you in the back. Ooh.
Yeah, because you don't have to kill me to beat me, Sullivan.
ooh. This is a different Jake Howell tonight. This is a different Jake Howell. This is not
This
the
is
Jake
the real
Howell.
Jake Howell. This is not bullshit. I've been holding back.
I'll see you then. You want that?
Yeah. See ya. Hey, say hi to Onyx for me, champ.
You want to say anything else, champ? Is there anything else you'd like to say to the audience or Mr. Howell before obviously we see this match here, which is obviously going to be decided by certainly submission, and we'll obviously see. You obviously correctly pointed out to the audience you've only tapped out one time in your career, and you ain't going to be tapping out to Jake Howell.
It's
Certainly,
gonna be
if the
twice.
way you're going about things. Anything else you'd like to say for the audience, champ?
First up, I want to say Tristan Taylor versus CJ. That's going to be one hell of a match. And trust me, Tristan Taylor deserves it, and can't wait to see him be in the shoes I was as heavyweight champion. Because
Take this. Take it, because that's fucking Cap.
Ooh.
That is Cap, and you know it's Cap.
just like
you bet on that.
just like your reign with the heavyweight championship.
Oh, here we go.
just
Bring
like
that up. You're
with-
beating a dead horse.
which is basically non-existent.
Okay, just like
Hold a title
your
to save life.
Okay. Okay, you want to say some more? Huh? Is that it? Is that all you can pull out your little bag of insults there?
This is my
Is that
prediction.
it?
By the end of this year,
Okay.
me, Tristan Taylor, and hell, even my wife are all going to have gold around their waist. Trust me on that one.
Ooh,
Now,
we
wait,
need
no,
to put
wait,
the
wait,
thumbs
wait.
up there.
Now, is it pawn shop gold or UWA gold? Because I don't see that happening for 1 second unless you melt down the tiles and get a wedding ring.
But you know what? Tristan Taylor's up next. he's got that shot against CJ, and maybe he's got something up his sleeve. CJ's been champion over a year, and eventually championship reigns have to come to an end. And
Yeah,
you
just
know,
like
that's also a good point. Obviously, a point that we'll have to find out. You can watch all of this on the Underground Wrestling Alliance's YouTube page. You can see this war finally come to an end here very soon between Chase Sullivan and Jake Howell, the headshot versus the no gimmicks needed, and it's going to be decided basically where the winner has to force the other person to tap out, and that's going to be something that in Chase Sullivan's career he's only done once, and the headshot Jake Howell, on the other hand, though, is right now tonight been unlike the Jake Howell you're used to, and this is why you want to see this match on the UWA YouTube page. Go out and follow them, champ. I know you're a busy man. You have a lot to ponder. A lot to think about here. I know we'll get you on here before the match. And
no, he's too busy carrying Taylor's bags. Is what he's doing.
Are you trying to say that he's trying to get a job in the PWF Mid-South? Is that what you're trying to say? Because that's a little bit. I don't think that's fair to the champion.
I mean, he can wash Taylor's car.
We have a job in PWF Mid-South. You can thank IGPW for that one.
Absolutely.
What's that?
Ooh.
What's that? What is that again?
You mean the place that your television channel of? I forgot. I have to put that as a footnote.
It's sitting right back there. Do you want to come get it?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is we're certainly, it's all the chaos. It's all just unfolding right in front of us. Champ, I know obviously you have a lot to do, a lot to plan for. We obviously want to thank you so much for your time here, being with us, and obviously being, I guess you might want to say, a good sport, or maybe, on the other hand, Jake Howell maybe is getting a death certificate. He's signing, sealing, and delivering to the backyard and the wrestling circuit here in the underground live before our very eyes. Maybe that's what it is. We'll have to find out, and we look forward to, if it's anything half of what we just saw at Anniversary 3, this is going to be one of those matches you want to put everything down, get the popcorn right in front of you, lounge in either that gaming chair, that lounge chair, and just sit back, because these two giants, these two behemoths are going to fight till literally the death, or, well, the other person will have to either tap out or who knows what else.
Thank you for the time, Tom. And Jake, you go ahead and talk to your pissant fans. Thank you.
He's the one with the goal. We'll have to find out. Thank you, champ. And that was, of course, the UWA Southern Heavyweight Champion, Chase Sullivan. Definitely doesn't need any gimmicks here. And he's one half of the Dirty South, and the Dirty South is primed and poised for a lot of things. But, people have been waiting all night to talk to you. We obviously were interrupted by the champion. This has been unlike Jake Howell's show on Sportswire. This is unlike you. And obviously, you have been throwing left and rights all night, and we want to see what the people have to say. Obviously, I know your fans are with you tonight, and we want to see what they have to say. And thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. There is a lot of comments here. Let me get to it. Oh, baby. I tell you what, if you were missing Punk, he's right here in the headshot, Jake Howell. Zilla, our resident, I guess, bot of Sportswire Radio, basically says the usual lines, and it doesn't matter who comes on. Zilla says the same things, but in the meantime, how you doing, Zilla? Obviously, we just saw this individual here, and certainly he had a lot to say about you. Want to say hello to our friends over in the Alliance Wrestling in beautiful Gadsden, Alabama. They just had a phenomenal
They are doing
show.
A great job.
Absolutely.
They are doing a wonderful job.
Oh, my God. What they're doing in AWL. AWL is killing it out there right now. They've got pro wrestlers. They're training. They're in a ring now. They've got some talent that are first class. D'Angelo, the Flame, just wrestled on their show yesterday. They got top talents from all over the place. All these young guys have just come so far from a year ago, and we want to congratulate them on their one-year anniversary. Endgame was phenomenal. It's way up there, almost 500 views already last I checked, and they're just doing great things. And congratulations to Hillbilly Tilly, Sky Felton, and the entire roster on a fantastic show. And we'll have more coverage from the guys here very soon. Want to say hello to the former, now general manager of legendary Backyard Wrestling, Chris Aruda. And Chris had a lot to say on Instagram, and we're going to talk a lot about that next week on the show with the Alpha CJ Jump, because legendary Backyard Wrestling has changed the game in a lot of ways. I'm going to talk about it with him.
Good on.
They're doing a lot of good things. Our champion is here, and I'm sure he's heard a lot tonight. He's heard a lot tonight. The man that is going to be here Wednesday night, Brett Anderson's going to be in the house. Oh, boy. And I'll tell you, I know he was on some other show, some Dark Den Hour, whatever it was, but he hasn't been on a podcast or a radio station like this one. That's in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform. He's going to be here 10:30 p.m. Eastern time, Wednesday night. Yes, sir.
I want to say something about this Brett Anderson here.
You better say something about him because he's here right now.
Tonight, it's not just me flapping my gums about Chase Sullivan and his little gluttonous plan. It's also about me. I'm going to give some flowers here because we just had our anniversary. This man at anniversary showed up and he showed out. And honestly, he's the future. He's one of them. I mean, this man is a wizard on the mat. This man is a genuinely humble guy.
Good.
But when he steps in the ropes, man, you got to watch out because he almost got me for the Heritage Belt last year at Unleashed. He almost caught me for it and learned a lot since then.
Well, he's going to talk about that, and I'm going to be sure that he's going to have a better conversation here than where he was on a different podcast.
I'm going to make a bold prediction, right? And coming from a former Heritage champion myself, I'm going to say this. In the next few years, mark my words, he will be Heritage champion. He is that good.
Ooh, I think that's certainly a shot at the bow of the headline, Aaron Blaze. But Brett Anderson's going to be here Wednesday night, 10:30 Eastern time, to talk about some of those things and some. Want to say hello to one of my buddies, Armageddon Shane Davidson, who's out there and obviously a coveted free agent. Says, how are you, my man? I'm doing good. I'm live right now. What a lively first 45 minutes or so with Jake Howell, the head shop. Boy, it has been a lively one here. And obviously, Mr. Sullivan was here already, so we'll move on.
You got a wife. Stop typing. You got a wife. Stop typing.
Are you saying that she's the one that wears the pants in the house? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, somebody has to. I mean, for God's sakes. What, maybe some Wranglers, some Jinkos.
Jinko. Yes, I've heard of
whatever.
Jinko.
You got to wear something.
Well, we'll have to see. I want to say hello to my friend, Mr. James Taylor. Hello, Tom from Taffy's Lounge. If they're looking for some lo-fi hip-hop beats or some relaxing beats to study with, you can go to Taffy's Lounge. I mean, he would know better than me, but he does play music. Like, he has, like...
Oh, that's awesome.
He has a stream. He plays, like, an hour or 2 hours worth of streaming. You get,
that's really... You know what?
Yeah.
Good. I got my guitar right over here, so it's...
Oh, I know that. How was my weekend? I was here on Sportzwire Radio. That was my weekend.
Yeah.
And it was like everywhere else in the country, like 190% humidity. So that was my weekend.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But then again, I would rather that than the winter at this point. Mr. Sullivan's prior comment was the dirty South Mafia. Yep. We're behind in comments. We're behind in time. Tristan Taylor obviously is congratulating Mr. Sullivan. Mr. Davidson gives the TBW chance. We're talking UWA though, but
no, let him do
it. Well, he's gonna do it. He's a big man. What's up, brother? They're saying, "What's up, brother?" Tuesday. What's the Tuesday reference for? Anybody know what the Tuesday reference is? But
I don't keep up with that.
By the book, he says, "Ask Slade how by the book I am. Ask CJ how by the book he can actually play." Speaking of Sammy Slade. By the way, the irony of Sammy Slade was actually in Legendary Backyard Wrestling once upon a time. Ooh, boy, who would have guessed? Who would have forgot about that? Well, I remembered it. The good guy CJ Black wants to say, when does Jared Black get his world title shot? What is the Jared Black? Is there a Jared Black? Anybody out there? Do we know Jared Black?
No, he's kind of gone. He kind of threw a political hissy fit, and we kind of kicked him out.
I see. I was kind of wondering what was the punchline there, but the Mafia has gone into complete chaos. That's what I have said. I have said that the Mafia has gone into utter chaos.
I would like to agree.
Tristan Taylor by the books, nah. Want to say hello to my buddy, Mr. DG Colt. I don't watch UWA all the time. I'm not going to lie, but when I watch, they always tell a great story and have great matches. Everyone in UWA does great work, and the viewers appreciate that. Yes, and UWA always has great commentary, always has the ability to tell a story, to invoke emotions, and that's why we are here with the UWA, and that's why I want to put this back up on the screen so you can follow the UWA on Instagram, because after all, they do have an Instagram page, which is also the same link as the YouTube and the Thread. So if you want to check them out, it's the same, simple, straight to the point. You can check them out and follow them, and that's where I'm following them, and you should follow them too. Thank you, DG Colt, as always, for your very good comments here. Jared Black never. I think it was confirmed. Yeah, Jared Black is never getting a title.
Now, see, we can agree on that, but nothing else.
Pretty much. Okay, touche. We ran it before. We can do it again. Well, we will run it again. Aaron Blaze for UWA World Champion. Interesting. Aaron Blaze for UWA World Champion, but you never know. He's here though. I'll get to him in a few minutes. We ran it, we owned it, and it was so sweet.
Oh my God, there is so much meat riding in this chat. They're like Mia Khalifa. Stop with that. Stop.
Well, they're using the chat to obviously put
Have
to
your
their
time.
advantage.
Have your time.
Hello once again to James Taylor. Good to see you. And obviously there's some cordial exchanges there. Aaron Blaze says a dot. He just puts a dot there. I don't know what the dot.
Yes, me too. Dot. Yes. Dot. Agreed. Yes.
My brother, and half the views left. And thanks, Chris. I'm all for it. And then CJ says, I'm asleep. Well, I'm not sure. I'm trying to follow who's on first, second, and third. And well, there's this. I think this is when Chase came on. I see.
Yes.
I see. I get it here. Sush CJ, the real champ, is talking, and then we see the back and forth here. And Chase is levels below me and Blaze. I get it here. Chase isn't even in the conversation, CJ. You're being way more generous than I would be. And after some of the things Aaron Blaze has said, that's Aaron Blaze being rather pedestrian.
I'm just taking some notes.
I think that's what I'm going to do over these next 24 minutes of comments to read. Blaze, this isn't a video game. No pauses.
I wish it was I wish it was a video game. That'd be fun.
Well, Lord knows I can play this game of what we do better than you can, old man. Is he calling Tristan Taylor an old man?
I don't know. I'm kind of lost right now because I was talking to, Mr. Chip on the shoulder over there.
Gotcha.
Kind of lost my train of thought.
Well, let me get to some more comments. I got a lot of them here, and I want to try to get to them. Plus, I want to give you something on behalf of the company. Sullivan reminds me of a Payless version of Grizzly from Weeb. Boy, when we have the Payless references, that means you're definitely going out there in the arsenal. Aaron Blaze in the big time with ROBW and has the biggest opportunity in all of wrestling when he faces Jack Delta for the ROBW World Heavyweight Championship. I'm very excited about that match, and I'm looking forward to also Aaron Blaze back in a UWA ring. So a lot of exciting things ahead, and I'm certainly looking forward to supporting both UWA and ROBW.
Wait.
Yes, sir.
I forgot to speaking of, I was going to bring this up.
You should bring up anything you want. You're live.
ET gave me a call.
Yes.
He said, when you're going to go on tonight, make an announcement. So I don't know if you saw the anniversary. I know somebody said something about it the other day, but
yes, I did.
Which we will get to that. Point is, this big guy, this huge man named Mikey Reedy.
Yes, made quite an impact after the J.D. Mercer Aaron Blaze.
People don't know him. People don't know him a lot, but I think you might after a little bit. Mm-hmm. He attacked Blaze, hit him with a forearm in the head, then hit him with the Heritage title belt. Unfortunately, Blaze suffered a minor injury with his head, but he insisted that he wants to fight Reedy. And I get, so you can see this here. So Mikey Reedy looks can be a little bit deceiving. This man was casually wearing flip-flops and he still knocked his ass out.
I don't think that would have been the right approach, but if it works for him, I suppose.
It worked. Okay. So I faced this man once before. I've fought Mikey Reedy. I have fought him. I've bled. He's just splattered barbed wire all over my back. And he looked like a damn pincushion. I was bleeding horribly. Blaze, I don't think anybody else should take him lightly because this man is, when he can get into the gear.
And he won't be wearing flip-flops in the match, right?
No, he won't.
That's good. Good to know because I think the audience would like to see him
He
wrestle.
came from the yard. He came from doing hardcore-type wrestling matches. He's in a different division, I think, now. But Blaze wants the match. Reedy wants the match.
What do you think he adds then to this Heritage title match?
I would say something very much different from myself or Brett, because keep in mind, this is a guy that's.
Also, we saw Mercer as well. Mercer was just in the ring with Blaze.
Oh, there's more on him too. I'm gonna get to him later, but Reedy wants a knockout match.
A knockout match.
Yeah, Reedy has been flapping his yarns for a couple of days now about a knockout match, and I guess, of course, ET told me to tell you guys this. He wanted to
Oh,
make
that was so nice of ET to tell us that. Thank
he
you.
he also does say hi.
Oh, hello to Mr. ET.
He's actually working on a news show right now.
I did see that on Instagram, by the way. I'll put that up shortly as well.
He'll give more information on that show. But Reedy wants a knockout match, which I think means the winner has to be knocked like referee stoppage, incapacitated, like kind of like a hybrid of wrestling and MMA, I think.
Yeah, kind of like a brawl for all almost.
Yes, but maybe a little bit more well handled.
I would hope so.
I would also hope so. But I think that's in the pike. That's been a rumor. Been hearing that Reedy wants a knockout match and Blaze just wants to knock his head off. So I think we're going to get that. I think at last rights. Blaze is pissed. He wants to knock Reedy's head off, but it's going to be it might be the biggest threat to Blaze's run, to be honest with you, because Reedy's a massive man.
He's a big man who's obviously got certainly championship gold on his mind, and he's obviously...
Now, maybe he's not the most flashy wrestler you've ever seen, but this man is a mauler. I mean, this man is, with everything he's been through in his life, he has that kind of fight or flight mentality. If Blaze is not careful...
Certainly not what he's seen in XCW before.
Well, that's a different tale for a different time. That could fill 1 million pages. That could be like the Sports
Actually, I have to be a little bit on my best behavior because actually a lot of the XCW guys are coming back to Sportswire Radio. So I have to actually be on my best because we do love a lot of the XCW guys. We have one.
That last time I was very respectful.
I think we were actually. I actually since then I've had XCW guys come back onto the. I think I had 3 XCW guys since we did that interview. I
like some of those guys. I think that those guys are, they've been around for a long time. I do give them that credit.
Yes,
it's very hard in wrestling and in any business to stay alive for 20 years.
I've been doing this for 5.5, and I get asked today. People ask me, well, "How have you been able to be, relevant?" And I feel
I got to give them credit for that. I've had my personal issues with Fletch.
Lord knows, most of the community has.
Captain Law. I will give both of them I will give them both of the respect. And I hope they see it because I got something to think about.
They won't. Too. Well, one of them might. I think Law would. Fletch, no chance.
I wish them the best. I don't wish anything. I hope they continue to thrive. I hope they can, do what they need to do.
Their last show, Extreme King, did very well. Actually,
yeah.
they have Summer Mania.
Everybody's on fire. Everybody's doing a good job.
You guys have over 1,000+ views. I mean,
I don't see where there's any, there's that guy that did the chanting earlier. I think he works for them. Even they're doing good, and we can, I respect that. I do respect that because it's hard. They've been doing it for 7 years. Actually, they've been doing it for 20 years now. It's a hard thing to do, and it's very hard to keep yourself going. And they've done it. And my hat's off to both of them. XCW, TBW, good job because y'all been doing a good job.
Well, I mean, we'll certainly, I'm sure, come back to that. I have so many comments here, and I still need to get through all of them. And I still want to give something. I still haven't got a chance to give you something. When I pin him on Friday, the whole world is going to be talking. So that's good for you guys. If he does beat Jack Delta, it's still good for UWA because he's one of your champions. So you can look at it that
I am rooting for Blaze.
I think a lot of people seem to be going that way. I am taking no side in that, though, because these two men have come on my platform regularly. And if I do that, the other guy's going to get mad. But I will say that.
Well, I honestly think that, they're both tremendous wrestlers. They are both tremendous athletes. They are both tremendous performers. They're different styles. I wrestled both of them. Jack Delta is very technical.
But I think Aaron, a lot of people like his spirit. They like his youthfulness. They like his passion. They like that he's eager and he's hungry. And sometimes
props to James Taylor for putting the match together.
Absolutely.
It's a big match. Props to all of them. REW, they're also doing great too.
Yeah, I mean, listen, James Taylor puts together, things. Yeah, he does. What a crazy world we're living in. Aaron Blaze and James Taylor with Aaron Blaze in a locker room, and
guys
in DKW now working ROEW and C Money from ROEW walks in to be the Atomic Titan in TBW to open things
Pretty
up.
cool.
I mean, just is wild. I mean, ROEW is almost like the new ECW of the backyard and the underground wrestling circuit. All the
Just
figures that maybe didn't work somewhere else, all of a sudden they found a home in ROEW. It's
all
wild.
I'll say, the Delta Blaze match, it'll come down on that day to who is the better man physically.
It could come down to
It's an either way thing. They are
we're going to
both
do on that,
fantastic.
and it's something I know Aaron's going to be here to talk about next week.
Yes.
Plus, Mikey Reedy, Sullivan getting roasted hard. Want to
Bro.
say hello to my buddy from Future Atlanta Pro Wrestling, who's going to be here this coming Sunday night, Mr. Michael Blackheart. Jake Howell, embrace the madness, my friend. It will always
Who
prevail.
said I already didn't?
Well, he was giving you friendly comments. He was watching and he enjoyed it.
I like him. He's really good. I
Yes.
like what he's doing.
Yes, and he's going to be here Sunday, I think at about 8:30 Eastern time. So stay tuned for that. If I hear one more, let me tell you something. I'm going to call Hulk Hogan for gimmick infringement. Which has more infringement than Sullivan's finisher? Speaking of, now this is where the comments get really interesting. Speaking of interesting, Jack Delta, the outsider Jack Delta, of course, the RBW World Champion, former UWA Heritage Champions, and has an only thing Blaze is pinning on Friday is the blame on someone else when he loses his opportunity. And then this is where it gets interesting here. Oh, look, here, everyone. Brokeback Beavis is here. I am going to say, let's get to more comments because you just it's more interesting. Yeah. Big time with Delta. Blah, 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 blah. Doesn't matter to me. Good luck with the world title match, Blaze. I can honestly say I hope you win. Interesting.
Tom.
Yes, sir.
May I just say one thing?
You can say 100 things.
We talked about it before, but I'd like to just say
I want you to talk.
So, Mr. Delta.
Yes, Jack Delta.
I just want to say this. First of all, thank you very much for what you said. Thank you, actually, because it actually did bring to light some problems we've been having, and actually has been helping us a lot more. I respect and I'm honored that you gave us the criticism, and I'm very happy that you did. I enjoyed wrestling you. I enjoyed telling that story with you. It was a very good time. You're a genuinely good, down-to-earth guy. You've been carrying ROEW for a good little while now. You've been doing a lot of good things, and I do respect that. That's something nobody can take away from you. You basically wrote the blueprint for what we're doing, and that can never be taken away from you. The only thing I'd like to say back to that, because I've not really had a chance to say something back, I've never tried to be what everybody else is doing. I've never tried to conform to somebody's vision. I've never tried to. I've wanted to be me. And I want UWA to be UWA. I want us to be what we are. Whether you love it or you hate it, man, doesn't matter. I mean, I know a lot of us didn't really. We got into this because we loved wrestling. We loved the fight. We loved the thrill. We loved, honestly, being together. A lot of us don't really have a lot of things, and we come together and we are together. Even though we fight each other and make each other bleed, we're still family. I would die for some of these people. So, thank you for your criticism. I'll take some of that. I wish you good luck in your world title match, because I think both of you are really going to need it. You're going to really need it, because this is a big one. This is damn near a super fight. Is what this is.
Oh, I think it's the match. I got to be honest. Leave aside everything. It's the match of the year in terms of the hype.
I think so as well. Yeah.
I mean, I got to be honest. I mean, you know,
kudos to everybody involved with that.
And I want to say something else here, which is completely slightly off the topic, but on the topic. You know, I've been doing this a long time. I have 5.5 years. I have covered British wrestling for many years. I have covered college sports, and I've done World Series athletes.
The best kind of sports, by the way.
I've done a lot of different things, but I got to tell you something. In the 5.5 years I'm doing this, as the host of the Sports Report, the owner of Sportzwire Radio, the #1 global radio station. Now, your voice, figuratively and literally, where all wrestling matters, the only platform that's in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage. Jack Delta and Aaron Blaze is one of the greatest things I have ever had a chance to cover. And in the 5.5 years that I've been doing, like I said, I have interviewed guys who won the World Series, guys that have played in the NCAA Final Four. They're in my Hall of Fame. I have interviewed players played in the NCAA tournament. I have had people that have played in the major leagues. I have had people that played in the NHL's Eastern Conference Finals. I have had some athletes that have done some really things. I have had people that have been elected to public office that have come on this platform on multiple occasions. But Aaron Blaze and Jack Delta, for my money and all the things I've done in my career, in fact, this is even a shoot. Somebody today, I won't name the person's name, actually said they wanted to have an interest in, let's say, maybe having a vested monetary interest into Sportswire Radio. Now, the good news is this is the only person that will ever run Sportswire Radio is yours truly. But the facts of the matter is that Aaron Blaze and Jack Delta is one of the greatest things I have ever had a chance to cover. And it's maybe one of the most exciting things that I have ever had an opportunity to talk about here on this platform. And that tops some really big moments. And I think a lot of people, when they watch this match, doesn't matter what side of the coin you are, whether you're in the underground, the indies, the pros, the backyard, it doesn't all even matter at this point. It's all wrestling matters. This match is going to be one you're going to remember 20 years from now.
And I just wanted to preface, I was not, I just wanted to say, I
anything you want on this platform with me. You say anything you want.
If you don't mind.
You can say anything you want.
I think, and this is just my personal opinion.
You're the headshot Jay Cal. You have the floor.
I think it's cool that we all do things our own little way. I think it's cool that everybody has their own unique style and their own unique way to do it. Maybe sometimes you don't hit your mark. Maybe sometimes you miss. Maybe sometimes...
Lord knows I miss every day on this platform.
I missed my spot in the Jamboree because somebody played a meme song over the radio.
Wow.
It was funny. It was hilarious. But I think it's good that we have... And I hope this is posted. So this is a message because... Whether it's hardcore, death match wrestling, hardcore, whether it's, people doing stuff on a trampoline, whether it's stuff people doing on the ground, whether it's stuff people doing it in a ring. I mean, you've seen BCF, they do it in like a makeshift contraption that's like made of death.
Well, YBW, Mr. Blaze's company, they're not in the ring, they're on a mat.
Exactly. And the thing is, what I find to be honestly very endearing, very enlightening, very honestly humbling is the fact that we can all do this. Whether it's Tennessee or Michigan or California or
Iowa, Massachusetts,
North Dakota, yes.
North Dakota, Wisconsin,
we're all doing
Ohio,
yes, we're all doing the same thing.
Maryland, North Carolina, Indiana. Yep.
Yes. We are essentially, I think there's criticism, and we all should have that. We should all every day learn a little bit more than we did the previous day. I try to do that with my own career. I took the criticism that Jack Delta had to say. I took it, admittedly, a little bit hard because I do respect him. I've talked with him.
When he speaks, it's different. When other guys say, this, that, but he's a man that obviously has traveled.
Yes.
And nobody's traveled in his shoes.
And some things I agreed with. I agree.
Guys look up to Jack. Jack genuinely, Jack is the one guy that comes on here and people know that they have to stop what they're doing and hear Jack.
He taught me a hell of a lot when we had those two matches. He and I think we clicked. We got along because we kind of have a same, I guess, MO about wrestling. And my only regret with that is I wish we could have done it on not the Infinity thing, but we could have done it on the UWA platform. We thought that was going to do it. But again, you live and you learn.
Hindsight's 2020 in life.
Yes, I've heard stuff from Mr. Taft Taylor. I've heard it from Mr. Delta. I've heard it from XCW, TW, all of them. And I have to say, even though it does hurt sometimes, it is appreciated. It is appreciated from all of us because we want to improve. We've been doing this for 3 years, and we've had to really try to work against everything. Like, we got to work against jobs and family, which those things are more important in the situation.
Absolutely. It's very tough in this sport because, again, the sacrifices you have to make. I agree with you.
We've gotten criticism for, reliability, but there have been legitimate times where somebody said, hey, my wife is sick, my kids are sick, I got to go somewhere, and they were part of like a big match, and I said, no, go to that. No, do that, because what we're doing right here is great. It's fun. It's wonderful. You have a family. Like, a lot of us do have families, and a lot of us do have jobs, and a lot of us have businesses, and a lot of us have things. And I'm a part of the creative team. I help out with the creative team. I'm not a big part of it, but it is frustrating sometimes, but it's what you have to do. And I respect Mr. Delta.
Hey, listen, not every show is perfect. Listen, there's shows I do here on this platform, right? And, there's guests that come on, and
there are
as Mr. Blaze would say, they're mid. And to be honest, there are guys that come on here, and
but
people can know the names.
For improvement. There's always room for improvement.
Yes,
and those guys who are mid,
I agree with you, but we all have that. Look, it's like even like Aaron talked about, and I will get to a comment. I know there's like hundreds of comments, and
I'm sorry for stalling.
I'm sorry. We're live, but what I want to say is, sometimes people try to do the best they can.
Yes.
Like even when Aaron talked about there's a lot of people that are mid that come on. Yeah, I agree with that. And the people can tell. You can see the view counts. You can see the engagement on those that might be the mid. But at the same time, if you're going to be all wrestling matters, you got to give those same people an opportunity. Because if you don't, and unfortunately, yes, can sometimes people come on here and talk? Of course. There are people sometimes that are here and can't talk? There is a lot of that too, but that's like anywhere else. Listen, I interviewed a lot of British pro wrestlers for a long time, and there were guys that had some of the best resumes that could have been in the PWI 500, really, if people covered them, and they couldn't talk here. They couldn't hold a conversation, and it is what it is. But I have so many comments, and I need to get to them because I really want to let people talk. I ain't worried about other things or people when it comes to you, Delta. It's also nothing compared to your endless rants about being a mainstay, but never staying when things get difficult, and he can't relate to that. Interesting comments. I told you it would get interesting.
It is going to get
Tristan Taylor, you were at the very top of Blackheart's list, and Aaron Blaze will be next on the list, and he's going to be here.
Come on down.
Sunday night, he's here.
Sunday night, he's here.
He's in Atlanta. Atlanta's not too far from you guys, so I'm going to definitely be talking about it.
No, we've been watching him.
Well, I'm going to talk about it with him. Want to say hello to my buddy, Mr. Ron Franklin in Pennsylvania. Ron, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Love PA. Pawn Shop Gold, going back to earlier conversation there with you and Mr. Sullivan, which is fitting because after Friday, I'll give you a real reason to be pissed off. Then your lemon cut makes more sense. Ooh.
Let him cook.
He's cooking. You just wait. Blackheart, you don't fear me. Also, there's a reason why Sullivan is rocking silver and I'm rocking gold.
Well, the actual reason is budget, but we'll
let me get to Mr. Delta. He's going off on Mr. Blaze. You're the one who leaves. Didn't like XCW. Didn't like first run of UWA. Didn't like CBW. Tucked your tail and left. At least I stick my runs out, even if I retroactively hate them. Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh. I told you it's get the popcorn ready. Stay tuned. Hey, Blaze, speaking of that, after CJ, I'm owed that match. You ready to run it? Could Tristan Taylor be a double champion in a matter of weeks? That's even if Aaron Blaze holds that title for Mikey Reed, especially in a knockout match.
That is true.
Aaron Blaze could be, listening to a whole world of hurt between Jack Delta and Mikey Reed. You stay tuned. Chase needs a gimmick where he pulls his pants up. I wasn't going to say anything about that, but famously, our mayor in the city of New York, Eric Adams, one of his original issues years ago that he used to campaign on, this when he was a state senator, was actually there was a lot of people that in his district couldn't pull their pants up. So he had a campaign. It was like almost like a public address campaign for people to put their pants up. And maybe that's where Chase Sullivan would fall in. I'm going to say no comment on that. But when's the last time you actually worked for an opportunity and weren't just...
I'm going to cook some popcorn right now. This is getting interesting.
I told you, no answer figured.
Where's Orville Redenbacher?
Well, you know what? Get it ready because you got 2 minutes, and I'm sure you can get a lot of comments here and that. At least I went out and busted my ass off without leeching off of a dead company's legacy, where I wasn't even top 3 of the best people there. A killer whale booking had more talent than you did. Boy, endangered species, huh?
I know what he's talking about. We talked about this before.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm saying the endangered species list. You act like I'm Triple H dating the boss's daughter. I'm sorry. I think that's ESW. That's ESW. So let's move on. Oh,
Fucking yikes.
yikes. I'm sorry people like me and want to actually book me. I earn the titles I win. I've never booked myself to win a title. How about you, Blaze? Oh, boy, this is getting real interesting.
You know what? I said about Delta, I'm going to give him his flowers now. He was a fantastic Heritage champion. He helped up. He really had some great matches. The matches with CJ were great.
We spoke about it here with CJ himself.
I think me and Delta did a pretty decent job. I was in a kind of a rough place health-wise, but
it happens.
I think it was pretty all right.
You never say never. Listen, anything can happen. You never say never in this world. And I would say you just never know.
I did apologize to him because I had problems. I had weight problems back then.
Well, you know what? You look good right now, and you're live, and the people seem like they're enjoying it. James Taylor, I thought, made his own music, so there you go. He does.
That is, you know what? Let's fucking collab. Let's do it.
Well, you know what? You guys are both ex-TBW guys, so maybe you have more in common than you think.
I forgot. I forgot that we were. That's pretty cool.
boy, now I'm gonna get in big doo-doo. That was me. No, I didn't say anything negative though.
That is awesome.
Endgame, the guys have been killing it, and that's why we have.
They are. I catch them when I can, but they are.
They've improved. I had them on. I had ADT on a year ago around this time, like today, and from where they were to where they are now, it's like, and where they will be. You just won't even, you won't even remember it.
His presentation, like he has like the Letterman jacket, he's got the belt.
Yes. But even where they are now, they're in a venue. They have fans. They have a pro setup. Their wrestlers are all professionals in terms of just how they conduct themselves. They're becoming like the New York Yankees of like underground and pro wrestling in terms of like. He
reminds me a lot of like an old territorial wrestler.
Yes, well, they have the right people in place. They have people that of good backgrounds, good understanding. The Sky Felton, Hillbilly Tilly, these are good people. They're good people outside of the
Hillbilly man. He's pretty funny.
He's a good man.
He's funny.
Yeah, he was actually here with me when I had a DJ on. He was actually dancing with the DJ. So that's
no, that sounds like a great time.
Hillbilly's a good man. I've been working with talentless, overgrown children, putting them over in some capacity and being told I'm not worth anything. Gotta love paying dues. But Jack Delta has responded. Now I establish tons of companies. Most of the places I go to don't even mention MEBW, EBW, WWA, etc. Has any company ever mentioned your companies besides the 5 or 6 real places?
Yeah, YBW's pretty good though.
What's that?
I like YBW. I caught their.
Me too. I love YBW. Alan is doing a great job at YBW. I love YBW.
I caught the one that was this evening.
Yep, me too.
The production is great.
And YBW has almost as many subs as XCW.
Yeah. And Blaze and his crew did that all by themselves.
Boy, you just hear what's going to happen now. Shots were fired, but it really wasn't shots were fired, but they were fired.
I mean, they were fired, but there wasn't like a target.
Pretty much. I now know why they say never meet your heroes. You realize all along who's the villain of the whole thing, but that's fine, Delta. You don't got to respect me helping people in any way they do things. We are different for that alone. What's different is I can tell you don't have the passion for this. I can see it in you. I can tell you don't have it or respect me. Wow. Stay tuned for more. That's fine because after Friday you will.
They're both they are two of the most passionate people I shared a ring with. Me
too.
Are passionate as hell. They both are.
Jack Delta was here. You know what? Jack Delta does have passion. I'll tell you why. Because the last times he was here with us at 2:00 in the morning. You'll find me somebody that was here 2:00 in the morning, eating, had no qualms about it. After working a whole day, he was here for 3 hours answering the people's comments. He definitely has passion. Listen, Jack Delta has passion, and everybody that comes on this platform has passion. I want to put that out there, and I still like to give you something. Blaze is a disrespectful little, I can't necessarily say what it is because I do have kids that watch Sportswire, but I do actually, I really do have kids. No. Kids do watch Sportswire. They really do. But I agree he should be the UWA World Champion, not the Heritage Champion. CJ may have a difference of opinion on that, though.
I mean, you know what? If I may, just one more little thing.
You can say anything you want.
I said Brett was another Heritage Champion. I think, honestly, Blaze has everything that it takes to be a world champion in UWA. He has it.
He might.
And he's sooner or later, I think it's going to happen. I
think he's got a chance, but I think CJ and Tristan Taylor first have to settle their situation.
No, I think that Blaze is having a tremendous run with the Heritage title right now. Very similar one to what Delta had with it. He's doing
I agree with that.
And I honestly think that the Heritage title has almost become like the stepping stone.
And I think the Blaze Heritage Championship run has certainly helped,
yes.
I think, people alleviate the XCW run. I think people now look at it and say, Blaze has done a good job in growing UWA. Blaze has done a good job in helping get spotlight on UWA. Blaze got UWA onto Sportswire. Blaze has done a good job representing UWA,
absolutely.
and he's here to be in UWA, and UWA has grown thanks to Aaron Blaze's coattails, along with the rest of the great talent that is here in UWA. So Aaron Blaze is doing a good job. He's doing a good job as champion, and he is definitely UWA. That's why we're very happy to see him here.
He could definitely be a world champion.
I tell you what, he might be an ROEW, but before that, I want to say to one of my buddies who was just out there in beautiful Bremen, Ohio. He is my favorite Oos. Is Mr. Illa Drago, an up-and-coming star in the IMF in beautiful Palo, Iowa. Glad you were home safe, and CJ definitely heard that shot-bound comment there. Hey, CJ. Hey, CJ, did you ever watch some of those matches I sent you? If you still want to talk, let me know. That's a good question. I guess we'll find out in the comments. I'm disrespectful, yet you treated me like an infant and not the performer that I am. So if it took me smacking you up to get you to take me seriously, then I guess that's what I got to do. Could have fooled me with being reedy. I thought Bubble Bass was making a cameo. Not Bubble Boy. Shame on Sullivan for retiring ET. We're going to talk about that on Wednesday. We are going to talk about that. Brett Anderson, I promise you, is going to be a better conversation than the one he had with Silverwolf, because I actually know a little bit about his career. Shame on Sullivan for being himself. Well, each to its own, I suppose. Why they called the Dirty South, though? They like being dirty with each other. Like, well, I mean, it didn't basically come to mind that I should ask about people's hygienes, but
that's funny.
Here nor there. Blaze just why? No, he's got a point. Mr. Delta's back with more. I get wanting to be different. My concern is safety. I don't hate anyone from UWA.
Okay, and I can address the horror stories if you'd like.
You can say anything you want, sir.
Well, I know he's referring to what happened to Dalton.
I mean, it's been brought up here a few times. Yes.
Yes, I would like to clarify. I'll even break the curtain if you'd like me to. So that happened a day before Delta actually came to UWA. That happened the day before. We do our tapings 2 days, Saturday, Sunday. And I guess I can just kind of shoot with it. It's nothing bad. It's just what happened.
You're not offending me. You could even say anything bad about me. I don't care.
Because I would like to elaborate on what he said. Because, again, there have been some injuries, and I think I helped run it. I take full responsibility of that. I'll explain what happened briefly. I was the one that gave Dalton the move. I was under a hood. I had to do it. Nobody else could do it. We were in a bit of a rush. I'm not blaming Robbie Andrews, Fat Asian. He had to go to TPW later on that day. He wanted to get the match done. They didn't have a lot of time to go over it. I do agree on the criticism of training and going over, because in that match there was little to no going over. It was just let's do it. And what happened was, because I still get kind of emotional talking about it because I hate that it happened.
It's okay. If you don't want to talk about it, we'll live.
Okay.
Don't worry about that.
Okay, but it was a choke slam. Y'all seen the footage?
Yes. Actually, we played it when Dalton was here. So you're aware of that.
I hate looking at that footage.
Dalton wanted us to actually see the footage. That's why we showed it.
And I remember, yes, it was awful. It was, I legitimately, the taping stopped. I broke the mask I was wearing. I cried for like maybe an hour. I'll admit that I cried because I love Dalton. He's like a brother to me.
Everybody loves Dalton.
Since then, we've tried to, not tried. We have been training. We've been trying to get better at planning. We've been trying to do that because we don't want to see anybody hurt. And there have been some injuries, but most of that has to do with timing. And I agree, we can make our timing better. I agree. 100%. And we've been doing that more. We've been doing more training before the shows. We've not had one single bad thing happen besides maybe
Do you
Dalton.
guys have a trainer that is helping you guys that has experience and such?
We have Sullivan's had a little bit of pro training.
Yes, he has told me
But
that this year. Yes.
we basically, it's kind of like a take turns thing. It's sort of like on the day, and I actually, after the Dalton thing and after recent things, I've actually put a rule in place that says before every taping, 1 hour at least of basic training to at least get kinks worked out, get the bugs worked out, go over your stuff. Because
Okay.
I do it maybe even more. The
Okay.
point is that when that injury happened, it did put a lot of things into perspective. I almost didn't complete FD because I help edit the show too, because I was that's what kind of hurt when he said that, because that's a very hard topic, because break the curtain once again, the TW guys were talking about that and trying to blame it on us when it was kind of a matter of time. It was two people had somewhere to be, and they tried to get their match done, and it was an unfortunate thing that happened. So when Delta said that, it did kind of hurt. Because
Do you have any regrets on how the match, in terms of?
Yes, absolutely. I 100% do. I feel like we should have, as a group, went over and talked about it. And Dalton was trying to do that. Dalton was there trying to say, hey, let's go over this match. And not trying to throw any shade to
No. Listen,
I love Robert. I still hang out with Robert from time to time. He's still a friend of mine. But everybody can admit that it was rushed. It was very rushed. I was worried going into it. I was like, I hope and pray nothing bad happens. Because last time it happened, CJ got his nose damn near broken because of a chair botch, which that's another story that's not been told. But I agree, Delta, on that. I'll take responsibility for that myself, because I was the one that was kind of like calling that. I was the agent basically for that match. I will take responsibility for it, but please know that that's not our MO.
So you guys now are going through training before shows, and
that's been happening ever since. That's been happening ever since the Dalton thing happened. Yes.
Okay.
Although sometimes we get in a hurry, and I hate that. That is on me.
James Taylor had mentioned when he was here about that he had offered to give some advice. He had talked about work. So what happened there with that?
Okay. I'll explain what happened. And
sure.
I appreciate his advice. Again, 20 years, big thing.
Yes.
It's just maybe it was my immaturity. I can admit when I've been immature, I was a bit more hot-headed back then. I was in a very bad relationship. Not making any excuses, but
no. Listen, you're alive. Don't you worry with me. You
okay. I would take those things now. I would love to hear it because I want us to get better. I acknowledge there's some times that we do sometimes maybe miss the mark a little bit. I think maybe more often than not, we are pretty damn good. I think because we didn't want to
hear from James in the future or Jack Delta to help you guys. I mean, obviously
I would have
in your company.
I would have very much appreciated had Delta, rather than say here, I wish you would have texted me or you would have talked to one of us and said
maybe he felt that that was the only way it could get through.
But no, there's no shade from me to Delta. I mean, I took it hard at first because he was a friend, but just know that we're trying our, when I say this, not just half-assedly, I'm saying this, we're trying our damnedest to not have a repeat of that situation, because that fucking, and I know it broke Dalton's heart, it broke my heart.
I think it broke a lot of people.
It broke my fucking heart.
I mean, we watched it here, and I was like, unfortunately, I've seen a lot of things in my life, and that was a thing that I would prefer people not to see. But, maybe if there's something positive that could come out of it, Jake, is that those guys now, those veterans like a Taylor, those veterans like a Jack Delta, if they, would be so kind, if they would choose to in the future, would, reach out to you guys and
I would like to give
chat or, whatever it might be, just to help you guys. I think that Jack and James do care about you.
I don't want any bad blood.
I want to say something else, because I want to actually say this. I always liked you guys. We've been talking to each other for a couple months, and I see the goodness in you guys. Some people come on here, and I know they're BSing me. I know that there's a game being played. I know that there's manipulation, but I know your locker room. All people that, I really think you guys are good people, and I said it then. I have no ill will toward you guys. Have been great, and that's why I want to see guys that come on here, even if it's an Anthony Steele to help you guys in the back, whoever, D'Angelo LaFlame, whoever it is, that these guys who are going up and they're learning and they're doing good,
Yeah.
they've trained, because I think that, like you guys are here, and I think you're on my team, and I want to see my team succeed. And I think if there's a way that I understand 2 years ago things were a certain way, but if you've changed and you've evolved, and what
And
comes out of it that these
the
guys want to
evolution,
help you now, I think, to me, why not? And I think Aaron Blaze is a good bridge because he's got great relationships with James Taylor, and obviously
the evolution
not so much, but James
that
Taylor he does.
the evolution thing Delta was saying as well. I mean, I do agree with that. It's just, it is also a matter of money. It's also a matter of, I do work regular job.
I understand. Listen, not everybody has my lifestyle. I get it.
I
Trust me, I
install closets for a living, so I got to save my money.
I respect every
So-
person that goes out there and goes to work and goes
So
out there.
it's-
And trust me.
I agree with everything that Delta said. I do. There was a training session the other day. We've been having training sessions. We've been going over matches like months in advance, so nobody ever messes that up. And when a match is on short notice, it's like, hey, can you guys get together in like a group chat or a text message or a call, and please just go over everything.
Yeah, I think that people want to see you guys succeed. We're here with the
Yes.
headshot Jake Howell. Of course, he is going to be coming up here for more UWA coverage. Follow UWA on YouTube, Threads, Instagram, and Underground Wrestling Alliance. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice. Figuratively, all wrestling matters. If you are out there on YouTube, hit the sub button for us. We're at Sportswire Radio 6579. We're on Twitch now. We're on TikTok at Sportswire Radio and Facebook as well. But I think people really do want to see you guys. It doesn't, to me, like there are certain characters or suspects that have come on this platform. You could tell that
Yes.
people have a vested opinion in them.
Yes,
I think people do
not-
want to see you guys succeed. I think that's why, to me, I was like, I don't want to beat up you guys because I like you guys, and I know, getting a chance to know you guys, you're all good people, and you're in it for the right reasons. You have put your blood, sweat, and tears out there. And that's why I'm glad that we've gotten this and addressed it. And I have a lot more people that want to say, because people have been so happy to see you tonight. I will say this: Taylor's injury was not in the ring.
It was
It actually wasn't. It wasn't one.
no,
I
it
have
really
more
wasn't.
comments here, but keep in mind,
A
definitely
lot of that
this-
was rumor. A lot of that was rumor. That was what happened. And Taylor's injury was, if he doesn't mind me saying, I don't think he will. It was an epileptic thing. It was epilepsy. It was.
No, you know what? I actually remember I was a kid in high school and I was lifting weights, and for whatever reason, all of a sudden I fell back, and people thought, "Oh, are you having an epilepsy?" And I was like, "No, I just, I just fainted. It
Taylor
was hot."
suffers.
But, I understand people think
Taylor suffers from epilepsy. It was an
Hey,
injury,
it's a big thing,
and I didn't feel comfortable with. He wanted to wrestle, and the doctor said don't. He wanted to, and we were all like, no, it's going to say, Jay, don't, because we don't want to see that. After the Dalton thing, it's been really, I've had a few fears.
I don't blame you. Listen, you
worried.
want I say it all the time, wrestling is not the other sports. You could go out there and you thought you were doing something simple, and we saw what happened with Droz years ago. We see things, Big E. Look at Big E. He's never come back to the ring since. He probably never will. I mean, we saw Owen Hart, God rest his soul. You don't know.
One thing, it's not really about being different with stuff.
Mhm.
It was, sometimes it's a matter of people traveling in, people doing all this stuff. Sometimes it is heat, and I'm trying to work actually with people right now to get an air conditioning unit, because quite frankly, I agree with some of these things he's saying. We do need better conditions. That is 100%.
Listen, safety is a concern for all of us here. We don't want to see anybody get hurt and be serious here. I'm trained. I know what wrestling is supposed to look like professionally, not emotionally. Just take some time to train for your safety so you continue to do this for years to come.
And we have been doing that.
Yeah, you know what? And I think we'd love to see Jake more on Sportswire. We'll definitely see him, I would think, in the next few weeks. If he'd like to come back, I would hope he'd like to come back.
I love being here. I
love having you. I think that people seem to enjoy you being here. And I agree with DG Colton. Hello to ADT, because after all, he says say his name and he appears. But, thank you for the
You have immense talent.
He does.
You remind me of, like, I don't know how many people are going to get this reference to this wrestler.
Go for it.
He reminds me very much of like a Barry Windham, or like a like a Mike Rotundo, or he like reminds me of like somebody that's like very solid foundation.
Yeah, Mike Rotundo was a guy that obviously, had a really long career.
IRS,
Japan,
but
yep.
like before that, he was
Oh,
great.
he did U.S. Express. I mean,
yes, exactly. Yeah, he was great.
Wyndham. I mean, he had a great career. I mean, he was a guy that had, was a very good utility player.
But
Wyndham had maybe a little bit more success, but overall, maybe Rotunda had the longer
ADT is
career.
just a utility hand. I'm saying like ADT has that sense of it, but he's put it in a modern flavor.
I'm sure if ADT had the same career success as Mike Rotunda or Barry Wyndham, I'm sure he'd be very happy.
He can. I know he can do it.
I'm sure he'd be very happy because both men are Hall of Famers, by the way. So that means
he can do it.
I mean, he's a radio Hall of Fame, but I'm sure another Hall of Fame he'd like to be in. But let me move on here. I got a lot of comments here. Unfortunately, I was not there when that happened.
No.
I'm glad you agree and are willing to learn. I suggest getting someone with more experience than Sullivan to you. Yes, that was the Joe Hendry reference, by the way.
It's good to have a different perspective, and I do agree with that. Yes. I 100% agree.
And I would like to make sure that everybody gets the help, and I don't want people to be turned away. And I was telling you before we were on the air, I'm like,
yes,
I talk to you, I check up on you. I won't say some of the things I tell you, but I always say UWA will always have a place on this
after every match, like because the Dalton at FD he was very winded. He's still trying to get back into it. That was a big oh shit moment because it's like, is he hurt again? Is he like cameras cut off? I was rushing. I was in my gear. I didn't care. Like everybody rushed. Everybody was like, "Are you good? Do you need some water? Do you want some ice?" Like we always have that on standby. It's like water, ice, first aid, bandage.
Especially now in this weather, you got to have those
absolutely
things.
Because little Mike, hope you listen. He's a good friend of mine.
I know little Mike. Yes, I know.
He had a heat stroke basically at one point after a match. He basically was puking, and it was bad. I
was telling somebody the story. I won't say who. A few days ago, years ago when I was campaigning, I worked for a state senator briefly in the government, and I got heat stroke, and I couldn't shake it for weeks. It was like I just couldn't shake it. Unfortunately, in the position I was in, I was like, I had to keep going out there and work, and it was like I didn't shake it for like I had it on and off for weeks. It was just like so heat stroke is a very serious thing. To get heat stroke, like it's like you have to be very careful, especially right now in this weather. So safety first.
I know a thing or two about some bad injuries, so I understand.
Oh, well, let's obviously move to some positives.
Yes,
first day back, I was showing everyone how to bump and lock up. And
that is true. He's been actually he's one of the guys that it's like I wouldn't say it's like training, but it's more like people like we had a BYSW guy, tiny. He's like 6'7". He was huge, and he didn't know what like we had. Because like Redneck Mayhem, who's like still our friend, he was on the show.
Yes, I know. While ago.
He did have pro training. He learned in Nashville.
That's going back way back in the time machine. Yes, Redneck Mayhem.
He was there helping. Blaze was there helping. We all try to help each other because maybe some of us don't know the proper. Sometimes we're trying to learn that. We study footage. We study tape. Actually, some of us do gather every once in a while to watch like a lot of tape because we have to do that.
I speak with some pro guys that tell me that they will focus on watching
tape. You got to watch it because you got to pick the brains. You got.
Well, it's like I do a lot of these, and again, we're here with the headshot Jake Howell, of course, who's going to be in the ring with once again in a rematch with Chase Sullivan here. No,
I'm going to whoop him.
But next time they're going to be in a submission match, Joe. We're going to find out for sure. But I obviously try to, research and do as much. When I did news, when I covered news for a while, that was always the thing. You got to watch TV. You got to be prepared. Yeah. But I got a lot more comments, plus I still really want to give you something. In all honesty, anyone that has a wrestling company really needs to be safe and should really train anywhere because real life hits like lawsuits and houses can be taken away. Owners of the houses could lose everything.
We have a waiver.
Yeah, I think I've heard a lot of that. Yes, you have to have a waiver.
We have typed up it's a very,
There are some states it's like you can't even really have a backyard.
No.
Really, like people don't realize that if you really can't.
And I'm blessed to have what I have.
I'm blessed you're here with us right now. Hell, in Massachusetts, you get charged extra on insurance and property tax because of trampolines. Don't give New York any ideas.
Yeah,
don't give them any ideas. Insurance companies and lawsuits are real, and it's never a good thing when they get involved.
Yes, exactly.
Taylor never answered my question about the Dirty South. Well, I don't know if he's here, but we'll have to figure it out. Before we get to a few other things, as I
Yes.
promised,
Yes.
I wanted to give you something tonight because you've been here. You've been so gracious with your time. We've run through the gauntlet in the world of the UWA, but I actually had something. Only if you insist, though, that I'd like to present you something.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead. I'm just happy to be
Well,
here.
on this date, I wanted to. You didn't even know what it was. On this special date, well, it passed in most parts of the country now. On July 8th, 2024. Yeah, because we started, it was July 8th, but in New York, it's July 9th now. But obviously, on this date, I want to acknowledge it as Underground Wrestling Alliance Day on all Sportswire radio platforms. You have my John Hancock. You have today's date. You have the logo. And I obviously wanted to thank you guys for all that you do for us here in this sport. I want to thank you guys for all coming on here. I enjoy obviously talking to you guys. I enjoy the product. I've enjoyed getting to know you guys over the past couple of months, thanks to the headline Aaron Blaze. And I'm looking forward to having more of you guys on here. Brett Henderson's here on Wednesday's show. I'm sure we'll see more of the people. Tristan Taylor was here a couple of weeks ago to talk about his return in the ring, PWF Mid-South. And hopefully get some of you guys also into this little thing called the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame as well in the coming weeks as well. So
that'd be very much appreciated.
Congratulations. And I wanted to obviously extend my wishes of appreciation to you guys here. And I want the whole locker room to obviously, enjoy this little moment, this little piece of recognition. And I wanted you guys to have this tonight.
If we can print that,
I will send it to you. You give me your email and I will absolutely send this to you.
We will put that somewhere in the arena. We will put that.
Well, I promise you, you send me your email when we're off the air. You will have that in a little while.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So you can have that.
God bless you. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much. But, I do want to say thank you for all that you guys have done. And you guys are definitely on my team. You guys are definitely a huge part of All Wrestling Matters, and I appreciate you guys coming here, and I can't wait for Brett Anderson Wednesday night. Clip Chris says, give Blaze the world title, damn it, and CJ.
I think he can do it. I think he can do it.
But CJ's got Tristan Taylor first, and Aaron Blaze has Mikey Reedy.
Yeah.
Well, he could get one of the two because he's got a title shot, one coming up this week in ROEW. So that one he could be a world title holder for. That he could actually be a world title holder for. So stay tuned for that. And I do agree partially with Clip Chris because, again, he's got the shot with Delta first. It remains to be seen what happens in UWA. And
I mean, he damn near won the Jamboree match that we did.
Yes.
He damn near won that.
Well, he's going to have to figure out first what he's doing with the Heritage title. He's certainly got Jack Delta up first, and I look forward to all that. But let me ask you some things here before we move on to the end of the show. Okay. First of all, if you had, and I know there's a lot to say, you already did when it came to Chase Sullivan, but would you have any final words for Chase Sullivan?
Well, as a matter of fact, Mr. Bryce, I do.
Go for it.
See, earlier I was shouting and raving, ranting. I was like Jim Jones on damn Kool-Aid. I was trying my best. But I'm going to put it to you eloquently. I'm going to give you some of that Tennessee class, and I'm going to show you something. And I want Chase Sullivan, if he's still watching or if he's doing dishes for the wife, to listen to this. So, okay, not to say this bad thing, but point is that you literally are the biggest example that I can think of somebody who's so stuck in their own head and so stuck up their own ass that you know what you're going to eat for breakfast tomorrow, Sullivan. Whoa. So let's cut all this out. Let's cut all of it out. What it comes down to, it comes down to you, Chase Sullivan, Southern Heavyweight Champion, Triple Crown winner, dangerous brawler, versus me, Jake Howell, former world champion, former Heritage champion, won the Jamboree, fought some of the best, and have lived to tell the tale. It's going to come down to 4 corners, 3 ropes, 1 mat, 1 building, 1 time, 1 place. Not for pinfalls, for submissions, for the verbal quit. To bring up names Submission experts Bret Hart, Lou Thesz, Gene LaBelle. In their essence, we go on. Sullivan, it's non-title, but I will prove to you. I will damn sure prove to you on that day, whenever it is, you're going to slap the mat 3 times. And when you're staring at the lights and you hear the music, the beautiful new music of the Golden Flame, I am going to stand above you. I'm going to look you straight in your face. And I'm going to say, now prove to me that you still have it. Because once you're beaten, you can't live it down. I'm taking the Southern Heavyweight title. I'm taking it from you because you're spitting on it every day. You are literally dragging it through a pile of manure that is your personality every day. Only because you have this chip on your shoulder. Like, get over it, man. Get over it. Yeah, I did some things. I've tried to apologize to you. I did slap you in the face. I did go after you. Maybe that was me acknowledging, like I will right now, that you are a threat. You are a threat. You can fight. You can go. You can cause damage. Jay Sullivan, let's just get to the chase. I'm going to rip your head off. I'm not going for ankle locks. I'm not going for anything classy. I'm going to choke you out. I'm going to choke you out. And when that breath is leaving your body and everything's closing in around you, I'm going to whisper in your ear, DOA, headshot. You're out like a light. Like a shining star shimmering down, you're going to crash. And I'll be one step closer to being Southern Heavyweight Champion. You can bet your bottom dollar. I'll bet $1 right now that I will walk out eventually as the Southern Heavyweight Champion. That's Scout's honor. That is Scout's honor. So Sullivan, kiss it, polish it, do whatever you want to do. But eventually that red and silver is going to go around my waist, and I'm going to bring it to the Mafia where it should have been this whole time.
Ooh, ladies and gentlemen, those were words. They weren't just fighting words. They very well could be, spoiler, it's going to happen. Jake Howell gets that Southern Heavyweight Championship. And speaking of that, what would it mean to you to be the Southern Champion?
My brother J.D. Mercer couldn't get the title. I watched him fall from that. I watched as Sullivan beat him. I could see the life and the energy and the passion drained from his face. He turned pale. For him, for every man that has failed to get the title, for all the men that have held it previous, for everybody that fought for that championship, for E.T., it would mean the world to carry that title, to once again be a champion, but more so to do it for the people that believe in me. It would mean the world for that, to carry the title for you guys.
Well, we'll have to find out and certainly see. And that's why you're going to want to follow the UWA, especially on YouTube.
You don't want to miss it?
I've seen you guys gained a subscriber or two since we went on the air. So we're getting a little
God bless.
close to 600. And I do want to address DG Colt. Actually, I don't go to bed right away because I actually do a little bit of work overnight. So that would actually be way, way into the morning, the late morning. You might be getting to start your day. I might be ending my day. So to answer your question, I may be combing my mutton chops, but actually I don't comb them, but I won't be heading to bed anytime soon. Thank you.
It suits you though. Keep it.
Oh, I'm not doing anything with it. We're just having fun with the comment because he liked the kid and we like to be good sports about it. But let me get to
Bren.
Bren's a good man. He's a very good man. He's here in all of my shows. He is here every single one of them. He certainly
he's been here since day one for us.
Yeah. I've heard he said that he loves what you guys do, and he was mentioning that in one of the comments, I think, before in the past. Want to say hello to my buddy out there in the UK, Mr. Tribal Cheese himself. He is a TikTok influencer, YouTube star, Facebook darling, and most importantly, one of the most beloved wrestlers in the independent scene in the UK. And he says good morning because in his time it's 5:53 in the morning, Aaron Blaze. So that's why he is saying morning, because he's 5 hours ahead of us. But that's
Good morning.
there you go. Yep. And Brett Anderson loved the popcorn, shouting and raving. Careful there, sounding like Xavier Cornball. We'll move off that certainly subject. Corn on the cob that you throw away. Thorn in the side of every human being imaginable. We'll move on from that.
Jesus.
Yeah, well, Instagram, if you follow Instagram, there's a big issue there. But he said he loves
just
to
keeps
pop.
going.
Well, he could pop me. Listen, DG's here. Listen, if it was anybody else, I'd say I don't know. But DG is here literally every single show that I'm on, so he can say anything he wants because he's here every show and he supports all these companies. So, but thank you for your support, my friend. Love you, and thank you for all that you do for us here. Also, which I didn't know what you call your sister. I'm going to move off from that. I'm just waiting for Aaron Blaze versus Jack Delta. James wants to wish everybody a good night. Taffy's Lounge is closing in on 500 subscribers. Thank you so much for your support of that. And I'm sure James will be in touch with you guys. Okay.
Lo-fi is a good genre.
Two quick questions. What would you want to say to anybody to look forward to watching what's to come here this summer in UWA?
Well, actually, that's a good question because y'all can be excited for Last Rites, and I hope you are. However, every August, we go back to the show that began UWA. Every year, we do Underground Unleashed. That was the very first big show ever put on. And in that match, in the 10-man battle royal, Joe Anderson won the heavyweight title. He became the first champion.
The Grim Reaper Joe Anderson. Yep.
Yes. We go back to that every year because that's where we began. FD may be the biggest show, but Unleashed is the heart. It's where everything starts again. If everything goes as it is, let's say for the sake of our given, that Taylor does win the title. Let's say CJ retains. Say Mikey wins the title. It all comes to a head at Unleashed. It all comes to a head there. Because who knows? When I beat Chase Sullivan, maybe I'll get a shot for the belt at Unleashed. Because that's the truth. Because that's the honest to God's truth. If you're going to be excited for anything, mark your calendars for Unleashed, end of August. You're not going to want to really miss it because, quite frankly, sometimes it's even bigger than FD.
I would dare even say that summer doesn't even start until we see Unleashed.
It's definitely a place that's close to my heart. I know it's close to CJ's heart and all of us because ET and Mercer and all them were at the Unleashed event, the very first one. So that's always a good. They're always there for that. So that's, I just be excited for it because that's one of the things we put all of our effort into. That's something that from the production side that we take a lot of effort in. Unleash and FD, the Jamboree, those three.
And I want to give a special shout out because I think I know this person, and I think I might have met them today. And what a small, if I think it's who it is. Shout out to everyone in the chat, including Sportswire Radio. Keep up the good work on the channel. Appreciate it, and shout out from the South Bronx, brother BKL. Yep, I think if I can put it out there, is this the person that I think I was in something with earlier this evening? If that's the person who I think it is, what a small world, because I think I gave them my business card with my YouTube link on there. And I didn't realize that actually he would be here right now, if it's the same person, because I think that we were talking about wrestling for like 2 seconds. And I think he had an interest and he talked about Heat Wave. And then I was speaking to the guy next to him and we were talking about college basketball. If it's the same guy, if I think it's that person, I would say, thank you very much for tuning in. And I hope we keep in touch. And if you are looking for wrestling talk, also when it comes to WWE and everything else in the mainstream world of wrestling, I'm here actually Fridays 10 o'clock, and I'll be here with the slew of guys, and we'll be talking about what's going on with SmackDown, AEW, and the rest of the wrestling landscape. So if I think it's that same person, I'd like to say thank you for tuning in, and what a small world. And keep in touch with me. You have my card.
Weren't the South Bronx where hip hop was basically invented?
Yes, I
Okay,
would say
then
that.
in that case, thank you.
Well,
Thank all of y'all.
what you really should be thanking the South Bronx for is where Jennifer Lopez was born. Because if you like Jennifer
I
Lopez,
was thinking of Boogie Down Productions and KRS-One.
I was thinking more about what some people would say Jennifer Lopez's backside, because that's where she comes from, the Bronx.
South Bronx.
But that's, obviously some people. But yes, he said that he appreciated it as as part of the sport entertainment family. There you go. So I guess he confirmed what a small world. So you just never know. I had my card in my pocket, and here we are. And yeah, wow, what a small world. And I see the subscription, and I was like, who do I know this person? And then here you are, and you're up late. I hope, like I said, you hope you hang out with me more Fridays, 10 o'clock, talking wrestling and everything else in between. So that was fun, and hit the sub button for Mr. Howell and his group as well, Mr. Brother. Obviously, give them a sub.
Now I got Boogie Down Productions stuck in my
head. Well, I mean, that's why you never know what you get on Sportzwire Radio. Before I get to closing thoughts, what would you want to say to anybody that you haven't got a chance to say to tonight?
Well, I want to thank God for always helping, I think.
That's a good one.
It's been hard a little bit.
I know.
I want to thank my roster.
You should.
Above everybody, no offense to anybody else, but I'd like to thank them the most, because without them and their love and their unity, their support, we would not be here. At least I wouldn't be here, because I'm just one man. These guys are the heart and soul of what we're doing down here. And I know for a fact, I think some of them are watching right now, and I know Brett's watching. I know CJ's watching, Blaze is watching, Taylor's watching, Sullivan, bitch ass, is still watching, I'm assuming. But even him, we started this thing a couple of years ago. Didn't think it was going to get where it was. It's here, almost to 1,000, which is incredible, I think. Grateful for that as well, to them and God.
And 1,200 plus people watched FD3. How about that?
That's an honor and a privilege. That's just wonderful.
You guys did really well with FD3.
If I could thank somebody, I want to thank you. Thank you for being so kind to all of us. And I want to thank the ones that have didn't tell us to stop. Like, I want to thank the ones that sent me death threats and all them. I want to thank them.
Well, that's a bit much. The death threats. I mean, listen.
Yeah, that's a different story.
That's a little much for my taste.
Yeah, I was sent many.
I'd rather think about Jennifer Lopez being from the Bronx.
I'd rather think about that. The point is, though, I very appreciative of everybody that came out here. I don't want there to be any bad blood between UWA and ROEW. I don't want there to be any bad blood.
No, I don't think there is.
I'm just saying that I endorse Blaze going. I endorse anybody from them coming to here. I think we can make it work one day. I think at least for a couple of stuff. Are
you saying that you would love to work with ROEW in some collaboration?
That's funny you say that, because there are a couple places that I'd like to work, and I reckon that'd be one of them.
Obviously, the distance keeps.
I'd like to go to NEW.
Oh, I think NEW would be great for you guys to go to, because you have Mikey Reedy, Aaron Blaze. Those guys know him there.
I think. I mean, I'd love to start traveling. Of course, I got to have my responsibilities back home as well. But maybe in the next year or so, I can start traveling, go to some of these places.
But ROEW is interesting because they went to AWL, Alabama. You guys are in Tennessee.
I mean, yeah. To me, it's about time and location. It's whether I go up there, they come here.
And you and James Taylor are former TBW alums.
That's true. I mean,
Elter are former TBW alums.
I mean, we've always, admittedly, no shade here. I like to keep home base. I like to keep local. I like to keep everything in this little thing.
Mm-hmm.
But occasionally, I do like to cross over. I do like to bring in people from the outside. And
you've always done that. Yep.
I wouldn't do it all the time, because then it would lose its meaning after a while. But
why not you guys, right? DKW's a part of ROEW now. Aaron Blaze, You know,
Like, I mean,
JX is in ROEW. He travels everywhere. I mean, why
I
not you
know.
guys?
I mean, we would appreciate the learning from a little bit because I know a lot of them have been doing this a long time too. We'd like to learn,
Yes.
maybe give some of our
TJ
insight,
Black's a 7-star superstar. You
maybe
know,
give our insight as well. I mean, I do think we're different styles though, because I mean, if I'm
yeah.
being,
I mean, I think a little bit. I would say that you guys are.
I'm going to be honest.
Be honest.
We try to be like old school style Southern wrestling, hybrid with like a little bit of technical and some hardcore stuff. We try to be a little bit more traditional.
Yeah, I think they're not as hardcore as you guys. Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't.
No, they're hardcore in their own different way. They're like, I would say like there's hardcore. Yes, I think we both kind of share like we try to get the intensity and the emotion
Right.
and the feeling and the passion. And I do this because I want to make people with wrestling feel good, love the product, enjoy the show, maybe meet some new people from it because I met some of my very best friends doing this. People that
Well,
saved my life.
took place, and we had people from companies that were all over the place: XCW, ROBW, CBW, OMW, IMF, WC, DKW. You know,
A lot of
by proxy, AWL, and we had ALW. We had by proxy NEW, TBW, Resurrection was there. I mean, there was a lot of great people.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've had my fair share of history with some of them, but I think every one of them deserves to succeed. I think we all deserve to succeed. I mean, I think we all do our own little different thing. Like we're never alike each other totally. And I think that's what makes us unique and different. When you say all wrestling matters, you're absolutely right. Because the UWA style is not what the ROEW style is. And their style is like AWL. And AWL is not like TBW or like CBW or XCW. Like we're all different in our own little
I think that's what makes us all.
Yes, precisely.
To be as one, and I think that it's like Baskin Robbins. There's 31 flavors, and there's a different flavor for everybody. And, you know, why not? You know, why not you guys? And you know, and I would love to see that. And I'm sure James Taylor is hearing this, and I'm sure I'll make it known.
I've sent love to all of them. All of them deserve to succeed.
Yeah, I don't think there was any. I don't think there was any. I mean, Aaron's a part of their company, so I think ultimately, to me, that's the biggest form of you know, collaboration right there. And you know, obviously, my friend says at least you could enter in the underground wrestling style in the backyard because you guys are the Underground Wrestling Alliance. Hardy, har. But before I get to closing thoughts, you know, maybe then sometime next month you want to come back and be inducted into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame.
It'd be my honor and privilege.
Is that a yes?
Yes, it'd be so wonderful. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Congratulations. I'll see you next month.
Thank you, Tom.
See you next month. I promise you, it'll be one that I think a lot of people will enjoy. And I want to say this has been a lot of fun. And one more time, it's UWA Day. Well, it was yesterday, depending where you are. But nonetheless, we'll give this to you when we're off the air. And I want to give you the floor now. I want to give you some closing thoughts and anything else you'd like to plug, share, or say. I pass the baton to you now, the headshot, Jake Howell.
Well, of course, check out UWA. I'd say check out PWF as well. Those guys.
Yes.
You know, I know Taylor's trying to build some stuff. You're involved in that. I'd say check out BYCW, check out YBW, check out, you know, the Infinity Partnership thing. We're trying to get that kind of different now. Try and do that. We do have 2 new channels that go along with UWA. Now we have UWA Squared for like bonus content.
Okay.
And we've tried to launch it. It's been kind of a little bit of a rocky road, but we'd like to get another show off the ground. It's called Underground Challenge for more like hardcore wrestling and more stuff, you know, like tag matches and specialty stuff. We'd like to. It has its own channel. We've not done anything with it yet. There's been a little bit of a scheduling conflict with some of that, but we'd like to, you know, do something with that. I'd say just support wrestling. You know, we're all doing good. I think we're all doing our own thing.
I think so. Listen, people come here every night. They want to talk wrestling. I mean, I've been here like every single night for like I don't know, 60 something days in a row. I mean, somebody mentioned it the other day. I'm here every night. Somebody wants to talk wrestling. There's always somebody the last 2 months that wants to come on and talk. I mean, that tells you that there's a hunger and there's a desire to talk wrestling. I'm here tomorrow with Kato and Mac 10. I mean, it don't get as hardcore. It doesn't get any more hardcore than that. They're here.
They're insane.
Brett is here and Brett Anderson's here Wednesday.
Just enjoy what you want to enjoy. Love
Aaron Blaze was here last Tuesday, by the way. Aaron Blaze was here last Tuesday, and he had a lot to say. And, James Taylor was here yesterday, and Atomic Titan was here Friday. We had a guy that basically buried his character on Saturday's show and went from Corey Graves to Silas Walker. I mean, we had Napalm yesterday, and his company completely changed right afterwards. I mean, everybody wants to come on and talk wrestling. So I think it shows you that the wrestling community is red hot in the underground in the backyard. I'll have pro wrestling coverage at 10 o'clock on Friday. So if you like NXT, like WWE and all stuff, I could definitely do. And I could follow wherever I watch on Instagram. Jake, you did a great job. And that's his link right there, my friend. It's Underground Wrestling Alliance. And follow me. I'm also on Instagram at the Sports Report 2021. And send me a DM, my friend, because I'm on Instagram at the Sports Report 2021. I'll put it up for you before I actually go because we can keep in touch. Even though I know you have my card.
Shit,
yes,
I forgot. I forgot. Forgot to mention. Big announcement, actually. There's something else ET wanted me to say to everybody.
Go for it.
Of course, it won't be right now.
Okay.
Because a lot of planning.
I think I know what you're talking about, but go ahead.
There will officially be either the end of this year or next year UWA World Tag Team Championships.
Oh, boy. You know what? I'll tell you what. It's funny. I spoke about that on Saturday's show. I was speaking with Silas Walker of DBW, and I said that one of the things that lacks right now in the backyard and the underground is a real tag team division. Very few feds have it, and I think by you guys doing that, that's a game changer.
Yes, we have. I mean, we love tag team wrestling. The South has always been wrestling. We love our tag team wrestling, and I want to be the one to officially say it. Either end of this year, beginning of next year, you are going to see a pair of UWA World Tag Team Championships. They will be coming. We're going to settle everything teams, division. They'll most likely be most predominantly featured on the big events and the new channel, Underground Challenge. We're going to feature them on there. Like a once a month to get a tag team match with the titles and the champions. So big thing. It's a project we're all working on together. Expect that. We want to have a tag team division. We want to have some competition. So if anybody wants to come step up and maybe make a little bit of some miles, being a tag team championship thing, let's think about it. I love tag team wrestling. Me and Mercer got some unfinished business, as a matter of fact. I love to be a tag team champion.
Well, you know what? Tag team wrestling is something that lacks, I think, in getting the recognition it deserves in the backyard and the underground. And I would love to see more of that. And thank you, Mr. Contreras. I see that it wasn't the person I was thinking of, but they just subscribed to the page, so it doesn't matter. So there goes my rant about a few hours ago. Oh, I thought I saw you and somewhere, and actually wasn't the case. But that is still good enough by me because he still followed the pages and he followed your page as well. And I'm here Friday nights, 10 o'clock. So if you're always looking forward to some wrestling coverage and everything else in between, definitely check us out. And we'll definitely put that announcement out there. A lot to have unpacked tonight. And congratulations on all the success. One more time, it was UWA Day here on this platform. And also looking forward to having you back here next month to put you in the Hall of Fame. Looking forward to Brett here on Wednesday. And just, really enjoyed this. Looking forward to having you here more often. You're definitely on my team. And who knows, maybe that ROEW collaboration's on the way. But until then, a lot going on in the UWA land, and I'm excited for it. And I think a lot of people also are as well. And thank you so much for all that you do for this sport. Congratulations on all of your success, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
That was the headshot, Jake Howell. Boy, Chase Sullivan, will he be DOA after those headshots we saw tonight earlier on the show? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I know one thing. I'm watching that match, and I'm following the UWA on Instagram, Threads, YouTube at Underground Wrestling Alliance. And my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally, where all wrestling matters. If you're on SportsWireRadio.org, you're going back to your regular scheduled programming. If you're on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch, also on the other pages that we have, which is the Promo Wrestling Federation YouTube page, the Pride Wrestling Federation YouTube page, I will be here tomorrow, or now today, depending where you are, New York time, with Cato and Mac 10. They're going to be talking about the NEW All Wrestling Matters Hardcore Tournament, August 24th. So
I'm excited for that.
And Tristan Taylor wanted to be a part of it, but I don't know if he's going to be a part of it. I would say probably stay tuned, but
He's
we'll have to.
happy enough to do it.
Well, if he wants to travel, I'll definitely bring it up here. But until then, thank you so much, everybody, for your support. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, on the #1 global radio station that is Sportswire Radio, where all